Good morning. Welcome to Waggy Dog. Thought I'd give you guys a break today. Come to the Arboretum. Show you some different stuff. We haven't been here all winter, so roosters stopping every 2 feet to sniff whatever. A million dogs, deer, squirrels have passed over this terrain since the last time he was here, so every sniff seems to be of vital importance. We've been here about a half an hour and we've gone, I don't know, 500 yards. A few months ago, Einstein was proven right again, something that I always find kind of fascinating. He makes a prediction that early in the 20th century, and it takes us early in the 21st century to bear it out. But gravitational waves were proven to exist. I read the article in Scientific American, which was kind of fascinating. Two black holes, come this way, Brewster, come this way. Two black holes collided, merged into one black hole, and the energy released, we were able to detect. It's a minute gravitational wave. It lasted for 1/5 of 1 second. But we'd set up these detectors to detect just such a thing, and both of them did. Since we had two detectors that observed the same thing, we're able to kind of triangulate onto where that event occurred. If we had 3 or 4 detectors, it would have been much more accurate, but some sort of star formation 1.3 billion light years away. That's a long way, 1.3 billion light years. That means those black holes collided 1.3 billion years ago. And the gravitational waves released in the collision are just reaching us now. Now, they travel at the speed of light. Gravity travels at the speed of light. So that should tell you something right away. This is an event that did not occur in our galaxy. The Milky Way galaxy is approximately 100,000 light years across. $1.3 billion light years is obviously a lot farther. Okay, buddy, come on. Come on. So that collision occurred in some distant galaxy. Oh, no. As I read the article, I started thinking about something else, though. Something that I've been pondering for a while. I used to subscribe to Scientific American. I had this whole passel of magazines that I subscribed to. The New Yorker, American Heritage, the Smithsonian, National Geographic, Time, American Scholar, about 20 golf magazines. And I read, the New Yorker's a weekly, I read that cover to cover. Scientific American's a monthly, I read that cover to cover. American Heritage is a quarterly, I read that cover to cover. By the time you're done reading all those magazines, after a while I realized, I always read it. Never reading a novel, never reading a biography, never doing anything involving a book. So I canceled every magazine. But every now and then I still pick up Scientific American off the shelf. And a while back, I was reading an article concerning dark energy. It was an interesting article, but I found it somewhat unsatisfying in that it never identified exactly what dark energy is. There are a few theories proposed inside the article, but as far as I'm concerned, one theory is as good as another. There's no consensus. Come this way, buddy. Let's go over this little bridge. Come this way. Come! Oh, he wants to go in that field. There's no consensus on what dark energy is. I found that somewhat discouraging. But in reading this article, it got me thinking about dark energy. We know that the universe began with the Big Bang. That was, I'm going to call it 15 billion years ago. It's a little less, but just for an easy number, 15 billion years ago. All the matter in the universe. Think about all the matter in the planet Earth. All the matter in the rest of the solar system. All the matter in the nearby star group. All the matter in the Milky Way galaxy. All the matter in every galaxy. There are literally hundreds of billions of galaxies in the universe. All that matter was condensed into one fantastically small, fantastically dense place. What it all was at that time, what existed, hard to even say. Something existed, something banged, but it's difficult to conceive of what exactly it was. But it banged. It exploded. These trees are down since the last time I came across this path, so now I've got a little problem. Tulip tree loop not looking good all of a sudden. At any rate, everything in the universe flew out from this explosion. And it's flying out still. The universe is expanding. 15 billion years later, the force of that explosion is still being felt as stuff flies apart. Which is kind of incredible if you think about it. If you had a stick of dynamite and you threw it into the air, some safe distance, 50 yards, 100 yards, it exploded. Everything would fly outward for a second or two. And then the explosive force would be overtaken by the gravitational force and everything would float back to Earth. With a stick of dynamite, that only takes a second or two. With the Big Bang, stuff is still flying outward 15 billion years later. You would think that with all the matter in the universe, every star, every planet, every galaxy, every gas cloud, with all that stuff, the outward expansion would slow down and maybe start to reverse itself, start to fall back together, just as matter from a stick of dynamite falls back to Earth after the explosion is done. Hey, don't lick that. Get over here. But far from slowing down, the expansion of the universe is actually speeding up. We're expanding faster today than we were yesterday. We're expanding faster in this century than we were last century. The universe is expanding faster in this millennium than in the last millennium. Why would that be? If the Big Bang happened 15 billion years ago, why would we be expanding at an ever faster rate? Makes no sense. Well, the answer is dark energy. Dark energy is a force that's pulling the universe apart. It's ripping us apart. What exactly dark energy is, well, that's kind of what I was talking about. You can read article after article after article, and they never really give you a solid answer on what this thing is. You know what it does? It pulls the universe apart. But what is it? No one seems to know. I personally think if Einstein were alive today, he would know. He would know. I personally think it really doesn't take Einstein. I personally think the answer is extraordinarily simple. It couldn't be any simpler. I think that's why these physicists, scientists, highly educated guys, they don't see it because it's so simple. They don't look at the problem correctly. They've got all these complicated mathematical formulas. You have to be a genius just to figure out what the math is even talking about. But it's all unnecessary, in my opinion. Dark energy is the simplest thing in the world. Dark energy is gravity. That's all it is. And I know you're thinking, wait a second, that makes no sense. You just said gravity attracts things. It pulls things back together. You know, if you lift out your arm and drop Newton's apple, it'll fall to the earth. The apple is attracted to the earth. In a microscopic sense, the earth is attracted to the apple too, but the relative forces are so disproportionate that we know the apple will fall and the earth will not move. So if I just said that gravity is an attractive force, how can I also say that it's a repulsive force? That makes no sense. Or does it? Or does it? Let's pause here for a minute. This will be a giant video if I just keep going, so I think I'll pause here and pick this up later on.